Now imagine this, putting $150,000 for a hands-free e-commerce business, only to receive an email saying it's all gone. Here's what happened and what you can learn to make sure it doesn't happen to you going forward. Let's first of all talk about how much was lost. A few days ago, we came across a review from Malcolm Cornelius who mentioned the ECom Authority had over 900 stores who charged between $40,000 and $75,000 to set up each one. That means that someone could be sitting on around $45 million that should be rightfully returned to the clients who are misled. As of all of this is going down, people are starting to speak up. And some of the things that they're saying are pretty wild. Someone on Trustpilot with the initials JDD said that they believe that Dan Cohen, Dawson Grant, and Dan McKay imploded the company on purpose and are now sitting on a pad of cash in Colombia or Puerto Rico, where they have other offices. Now, this is not fact, but this is what people are saying. You'll find story after story of people saying they're out big time. Take Boris, for example. He signed an agreement with the ECom Authority. He said he paid $50,000 as the initial investment, plus another $25,000 for inventory. The business was supposed to be up and running within 90 days, returning 12%. He never received any inventory. The Walmart account terminated. Now, most of these stories follow a similar pattern. People investing around $75,000 upfront, setup fee plus inventory, only to end up with nothing. Accounts shut down, collection agencies looming, and some reporting losses up to 140 all in. Shannon, she says she lost $155,000. And then there's Mez. He and two other investors each wired $75,000. That's $225,000 just for setup fees. And there's another $15,000 each for inventory, plus some additional subscriptions, whatever they were. Now they are out a lot of money. Now, you might be asking, what happened? Why did it collapse? Let's take a step back and understand what they do and why people invested to start with. Now, on their website, ECom Authority described themselves as a distribution network, connecting suppliers to national retailers. At its core, they claim to offer streamlined distribution, helping sellers achieve reliable, high-volume retail placements. They highlight access to leading retail partners and transparent and trusted relationships, and scalability. Basically, they buy and sell stock on your behalf. But fundamentally, here's how it works. You supply the money, they provide the inventory, they handle receiving, prepping, warehousing, and logistics. They ship the products to Amazon or Walmart, and the products get sold and the process repeats. And you get to keep the profits. And how much can you make? As per Trustpilot reviews, what they talked about, you can get 8 to 12% ROI per quarter. If you put in $100,000, you could be making up to $48,000 per year in profits. Now that is some amazing returns. Does it sound too good to be true? As we found out, it was. At its core, this is what Amazon or e-commerce automation looks like. You pay a set fee for a service plus extra for the inventory. And as you'll see, it can range from anything from about $75,000 for the setup plus another $75,000 for inventory. So what happened? Well, a quick check, even on ChatGPT with some deep research, can tell you the timeline of events leading up to this. Now, with some simple searching, we could see that they had Amazon account deactivations and legal disputes. ECom Authority had previously sued Amazon in October 2024 last year after Amazon deactivated or seized funds and inventories from approximately 595 client accounts, alleging huge financial losses in the tens of millions. Now, the lawsuit is currently controlled by the assignee. This is before the current situation, but it had already drained considerable resources from the company. Part 2. Walmart terminated all of the stores for ECom Authority. Now, on June the 4th, 2025, ECom Authority announced that Walmart permanently terminated all stores associated with their platform after suspensions began in late May. With no reinstatement possible, ECom Authority said they lacked the financial resources to challenge Walmart legally. Part 3, they went through an assignment for the benefit of creditors. ABC. Now, the company entered into an ABC process in Florida, basically state-level insolvency liquidations. They appointed a third-party assignee to wind down operations and liquidate all assets. Now, according to their FAQs, updated on June the 6th, this all happened due to operational challenges and financial constraints. Before we get into what you can do, let's talk about the warning signs that maybe you should watch out for, especially if you're thinking about investing in a company similar to this, maybe promising similar returns, and maybe a similar investment. So what should you be thinking about? Well, we did some research into ECom Authority. And right now, if you check out ECom Authority's Instagram page, because it is still live, you can see about them. But Dan, the CEO, has made his personal Instagram account private. And the other owner, Grant, appears to have deleted his account altogether. But we did come across an interesting review of ECom Authority that sheds some light on the situation. And it highlights a few red flags to keep in mind when evaluating companies are similar to this. Now, there are key words that I always look out for. Things like passive or bulletproof. Big red flags for me. Nothing is truly passive and nothing is bulletproof. I promise you that now. Now, anyone promising that is either lying or trying to sell you a dream. Now, the second part, flashy cars. They showcase Lamborghinis, McLarens, and G-Wagons. That's what we heard on Trustpilot. And there's nothing wrong with success in buying flashy cars. But when it comes to marketing, there's usually a sign that the profits are going into their garage rather than your bank account. They also talked about the partnership model. They pitch it as a we win, you win model. But here's the critical question that you should always be asking. If you're paying a huge startup fee and they're taking a percentage of the profits, what do they actually need you for? That's a question that every investor should be asking. If the model is that good, then why aren't they just doing it themselves? Why do they need your money? Next, Trustpilot reviews. They have a number of Trustpilot reviews, but what do I recommend? Look beyond the 5 stars. Don't just skim the glowing reviews. Dig into the 3, the 4-star ones. A common theme, this only makes sense if you invest over 100,000. Now that is a serious amount of money to risk just to test whether something works. One reviewer said they invested 5 figures and made just $792 in profit. Another claimed to have put in over $700,000 and got a 35% return in 45 days, often hitting 25% returns. Now, when numbers seem too good to be true, they usually are. And finally, review credibility. Last tip, look at the reviewers themselves. Now, a lot of the 5-star reviews we see, they only have 1 review on their profile. Now, I'm not saying that there's anything wrong with that, but I generally like to see a lot of reviewers have more than 1 review. They're quite good at doing reviews. And so therefore, I have more confidence in the validity of their reviews. And so this is a thing that I'm always looking for. Now, one question you might be asking is, what can you do if you were affected by the ECom Authority shutdown? Now, at a basic level, someone has already stepped in or stepped up to create a Linktree page called ECom Shutdown Tree. And honestly, it's great. It's a great resource. And here's where you can find a private Facebook group for verified clients so you can connect with others on the same situation, share updates, and collaborate on possible next steps. A link is also there to file complaints with the FBI via the Internet Crime Complaint Center. And this is crucial if you believe fraud was involved, and also instructions to report the company on the Better Business Bureau, which helps flag the issue and puts more pressure on any remaining parties. Also as well, they encourage you to leave a Trustpilot review, and it's important that your voice is heard so others are warned. Also as well, court records section, so you can stay up to date on any legal actions that are happening. Now, what else should you do? Well, I recommend collect and back up all documentation, emails, contract, invoices, wire receipts, anything tied to your investment. Save both digital and hard copies. Take screenshots of everything. Save anything online that you don't directly control. It could be Instagram pages, it could be things on their websites. Anything could be going private or being deleted, and you may not have access to it in the future. So save it today. Also as well, I'd strongly recommend speaking to a lawyer. Even if you don't plan to sue, legal advice can help you understand what your rights are and your best options going forward. And finally, the hard truth is, in some cases, you might not recover any money. But what it is within your control is to learn from this experience so it never happens again. Now, if you're still thinking about getting into e-commerce and you want to do it the right way, which is called you running the business yourself, then I spent the last 8 years building my own Amazon business and documenting the journey. And I've recorded a video where I share the key lessons in just 25 minutes that are going to help you avoid the mistakes that I made along the way. This isn't about shortcuts. It isn't about handing it off someone else. else, at the end of the day, you need to learn how to run the business yourself. So check out the video around here. It's packed with everything that I've learned from selling on Amazon and running multiple 7-figure stores. And trust me, it's going to save you a lot of time, money, and frustration. Now, if you found this video helpful, give me a thumbs up. And hey, don't forget to hit the subscribe button so you don't miss any future videos. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.